Hello, everyone, and welcome to the bottom of the well. Um, I actually don't know anything about this game. I just saw it on Steam, and it looked um, very interesting. So I decided to check it out, and well, let's see what is to come. Welcome to Bottom of the Well. This game is visual novel, meaning it is a mainly text-based piece of interactive fiction, a book where you get to decide what happens next. Most of the gameplay consists of picking your choice from the selection of options, which will further the story. Bottom of the Well does have some gameplay aside from multiple choice through the most important of which is the kind of Alice, your protagonist, you are going to play. For your first playthrough, we recommend you use default Alice, but the customization is there to be used. Even if you complete the game, a different Alice might have a very different experience. If nothing else, you might just find a new way to die. Thank you for playing our game, Red Nettle Studio. Okay. We have default Alice, randomly generated Alice, custom Alice, dark Alice, and that's about it. Well, let's go with the default, since it's recommended for the first playthrough. The default Alice is capable of finish. God damn it! What? That's way too fast. I. Did you manage to read that? I didn't. Well, let's just accept and start. Okay, so we are on our computer, it seems. Morning A. Morning. Did you catch the anniversary reading last night? No. Well, I tried, but I fell asleep. Listen, about that. You fell asleep? Oh, come on! Alice in Wonderland is like your favorite. Let me finish. Something happened. I was turning in on my radio. You're such a Luddite. Amazing I can even catch you online. Shut up, I'm not a Luddite. I just like analog things. Anyway, I was turning into the broadcast and I must have hit the AM switch or something, because suddenly the channel changed to something else. What? Aliens? Oh, government-run number stations. No, it was this weird, like, white noise at first. It's hard to explain why I was so drawn to it. I could hear snippets of some melody, maybe lyrics, but the signal was weak. So you turned it off and continued looking for the Alice broadcast. So I went out on my balcony and turned the antenna around until the signal came through clear. It now sounded more like music, with the odd signal in the background. When logic and proportion have fallen sloppy dead, and the white knight is talking backwards, and the red queen's off with her head. Oh, so somebody's pirate radio broadcast of golden oldies? It felt like there was something else there, some message that the music was hiding. I know it sounds weird, and then I fell asleep. What a story. No, hear me out. I dreamed and I didn't know I was dreaming. Do you understand? It was entirely lucid, but like waking up in another world, except I didn't think of it as another world. Does this make any sense? You had a super lifelike dream where you didn't know you were dreaming, but you were still lucidly in control. Sounds pretty rad to me. I'm sure it would have been, except for the whole end of the world apocalypse bit in the dream. Okay, now you got my attention. Okay. So, like I said, it was the end of the world. Everything I did that day felt like the real thing. Every smell, every sound, every color, every touch. It's important you know that. I wasn't acting like I would in a dream. I didn't know it was a dream. Okay, so what do I do now? Heavy. There was no warning, no build-up, nothing. Just between one moment and the next, the TV had turned to the emergency alert system, and this voice that sounded like it had been recorded in the 60s told us we were under attack. Were you alone? Yeah. I had a really long day at the office, so I had sworn off all social contact for the evening. I had the TV on in the background, just as noise. Wait, what? The office? You mean you got some kind of a real adult person job in this dream of yours? Yeah, actually. At the college, student admissions office. Hey, don't sound so surprised. I am going to graduate in just a few months, you know. Uh-huh. With a BA in English Lit. I guess that's literature. Shut up. Such skill with words. Anyway, what happened next? Like I said, the TV suddenly turned to the emergency alert system. Check the volume all the way up too. I didn't even know they could do that. The broadcast told us we were under attack right now and that we needed to get to shelter. That we had less than 30 minutes before the bombs hit. Jesus, sounds scary. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I switched to the channel, but they were all the same. And then the sirens started. Tornado sirens, flood sirens, I don't know. And I knew things were serious. So, what do you do? Okay, so now I get to do the choices. And what I think it's here, it's like, well, there's the Mad Hatter, and that's Alice. So this is some version of Alice in Wonderland, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so it's Wednesday, July 1st, and it's cloudy. Okay. Okay, so I went online to find out what was going on. Okay, that's really bad idea. And I immediately tried to call Chess. Well, Chess, I don't think that's a good thing either in that situation. I needed to think about my options. Well, I think that's probably the best, that you you should really think what you really do. Well, you should go to shelter, but I think it's good to think um, things thoroughly first before you act. So I needed to think. Okay, what was your plan? The broadcast kept saying to stay indoors, to keep all windows and doors closed, stuff like that. Was it realistic of you to think you could stay in the apartment? Realistic? It wasn't like I had been through a lot of apocalypses before. I'm not sure what constitutes realistic. I had enough food in my cupboards to last me a little while, so at least I had that going for me. Oh yeah, and then I had my trusty radio, of course. I tried it and it worked. It was sending out the same emergency broadcast as the TV. And you called me a Luddite. You got me there. So, what did you do? Okay, so same thing. Went online to see what's going on. Tried to call a chess, and decided to try tough it out at home. Well, I don't know what would be, because I would think that the online and emergent, like the phone lines and everything, would be really like stuffed, because everyone would be panicking and calling everywhere and stuff like that. So the most reasonable thing would be to tough it out at home. I suppose I decided to stay home mostly because of what the message was telling us to do. Is that the part where you start putting aluminium foil over the windows and prepare your bathtub for extended living? As if I even had the presence of mind to do that. I just listened to the man on the TV. He said, move you and your family to the centermost room in your house, preferably one without windows, preferably underground. Didn't your building have some kind of shelter? At least on this side of the pond, it feels like you can't walk down the block without stumbling the half-dozen bomb shelters. Sadly, no. We never got into the habit of getting bombed during our wars. We are the ones doing all the bombing. Huh. So, which country this, takes place? Because it seems that the Mad Hatter is somewhere behind an ocean, and if Alice has, they didn't get any bombings, and they did all the bombings. Huh. I would guess that this Alice would be American, maybe. I would think so, because I don't think America got any bombings in the wars, except like Pearl Harbor and those places. But that's not important. Let's continue. Anyway, bathroom it was then. Did you think to bring anything? Oh, right, yes. I grabbed the biggest bag I had. A backpack. People always call it magic. You could fit so much into it. Bigger on the inside and all that. Okay. So now I have to check what I get into the backpack. Well, obviously we need food. And then I would think, because well, flashlight is handy because if bombing starts, you will probably get cut off from all the lights. And well, map is kind of handy if you don't know the city you're in. So I don't know. And what is that actually? That which is on the side there? Oh, I don't know. But well, then because we have food for one day, but that won't be enough. So I think we would need food for another day too. Okay, so now we have all the food we can get, and then I think the radio would be probably the best, because we could hear the broadcasts and everything that going on, because we don't need a sleeping bag. It's not a must, because you can sleep on the floor or something like that. And well, spare clothes are nice, but you can survive without. And like I said about the map and flashlight, but I would think the radio would be the wisest choice. Can I just get everything? Maybe the flashlight? Map? Spare clothes? No? Okay, so that was the biggest choices, I think. Or can I get something else in the hand? No? Okay. Okay, so I think this is the, because I can choose these. So I think this is it. Serious question. Why didn't you just bring your entire apartment with you into the bathroom? I mean, like bed, every scrap of food, etc. First of all, I was kind of afraid the building would, collapse. I wanted to be ready to run, so I packed my bags in advance. Secondly, the truth was, I just didn't come to think of it. I'm sure I had tons of other useful things lying around that I just didn't think to bring along. Alright, so what happened? The end of the world? Come on, let's hear it. It took a lot longer for the bombs to begin falling than they said. Sorry, my chair is kind of squeaky. I stayed online for as long as I could with my laptop in the bathroom. Door closed, everything edible stacked around me. The news suggested that the US missile defense was working, that it was shooting down the Russian missiles before they could land. But I guess sooner or later our luck ran out. Okay, so Alice is from US. Go on. Well, first the electricity went. I remember being lit up by just my laptop screen. Before I had time to panic, there was this rumble. And then plaster started raining down from the ceiling, and the toilet seat underneath me kind of started feeling oily. I don't know, like I was in danger of sliding off it. So, nukes? All the plastic would start to melt because of the heat, I think. Jesus. I was completely terrified. There's nothing really that can prepare you for it, and that was just the first one. How many did they send your way? How should I know? After that first hit, the internet was down. The lights didn't come back on, but then a few moments later there was another one. You know how you kind of count seconds between seeing the flash and hearing the thunder when there's lightning? Yeah. This felt like that. Shock after shock. And then counting the little white flakes dropping down from the ceiling, hoping and praying the next one wouldn't just obliterate you. Did it go on for long? I don't think so. After the third one, my laptop and phone both stopped working suddenly. EMP? EMP? What's that? Well, I'm sure Mad Hatter will tell me, but that's a electromagnetic pulse. Electromagnetic pulse. It's this like secondary effect of a nuclear blast that knocks out electronics. Wait, how could you not know what that is? It's your dream after all. That is kind of weird. Dreamy definitely knows more things than real me does, or did. How long did you stay in there? Well, the man on TV said to monitor broadcasts until an all clear was given, or at least 24 hours. I brought my portable radio with me. The net went down, but the radio waves remained, at least for a while. Analog for the win. I can agree with that. The broadcast stopped after a while, but not before reporting on wind patterns. There was going to be a lot of fallout raining down right outside my window right around the 24-hour mark. Ooh, so not the best option. Well, I was pretty sure it'd get inside whether I wanted it or not. The question was if it was worth waiting a little longer. Did you have enough food? I had enough to last me 24 hours at least. So what was your decision? Well, we have food for 2 days, so okay, it's and also it's day Monday, September 19, and it's ash rain, and I guess it's best to stay as long as I could. I stayed for as long as I possibly could until my supplies ran out. And how long was that? Well, I could have stayed at least a few days, and I was preparing for that. I hoped that maybe the internet or electricity or something would come back on, but it didn't look like it. So now it's Tuesday, September 20th, and it's clear skies. The first 24 hours were alright, but after that it got pretty miserable. The apartment was cooling down, and I hadn't thought of bringing anything to actually sleep on. But your room was right there, couldn't you just have gone and grabbed your mattress? I was tempted enough to crack open the door just a bit, just to take a peek to see if things maybe weren't as bad as they'd seem, but the glimpse I caught in the room outside convinced me otherwise. I closed the door quickly, although I think I let some dust into the room. That can't be good. I didn't feel any different, not right away. I might have toughed it out longer even, but That's when I heard a knock. What? On your bathroom door? No, my front door. Holy shit. Survivors? Rescue? The former. But I thought the same as you. I couldn't just ignore it. So I got up and stepped out. What did it look like? You know, it actually took me a little while to wrap my head around that it was still my apartment. You see, all the windows had shattered, so everything was covered in shards. There were books and papers all over, blown around by the wind, I guess, and ash. Ash? Yes. I was in shock, like stepping into another world. I walked across the debris, glass crunching under my feet, to the window. Everything was grey, even through my phone said it was morning. It was raining ash. That can't be good. Did the city stand? I think the city was making most of the ash. I could see smoke rising from what little horizon I had visible from my apartment, and it smelled of burnt and smoke outside. But it was also eerily quiet. Except for the knocking. Yes. Actually, I had gotten so hung up on staring at the fallout, whoever had been knocking had given up. I rushed to the door and pulled it open just in time. Who was it? It was one of my neighbors. His name was Ross. We'd actually hang out a bit at some point at some tenants meeting or other. I was just so happy to see someone else had made it. I started asking about the building, about the city, about everything. But he just said, well, he actually just led me to a door that was open. It faced opposite side of the building. What does that... Let me finish. I peeked in, calling out a hello, and find myself looking out at nothing. You know, no walls, no floor, barely any roof left, no windows, no people, kitchen cabinets hanging loose above the abyss, that kind of thing. And beyond, nothing. Just ruins and fire. The whole downtown area, gone. There was this thick ashy snow falling everywhere, a lot of it drifting inside. A sudden gust suddenly blew a face full of it at me, and I gasped. Holy shit. That doesn't sound good. My stupid self was standing there, mouth agape, staring. So of course I got a lungful of it. Damn idiot me. I can't really do the side justice though, and I don't blame Dreamy for staring. Dream you isn't you? She is and she isn't. It's hard to explain. Anyway, go on. Were there other survivors except Ross? Yes, we gathered at the bottom floor, a little group of us. Ross, me, an old lady from the ground floor, a family with 2 kids, the night janitor who had hidden in the broom closet when the bombs hit. No one was badly hurt, but we were all coughing from the ash. Weren't you worried? I mean, about the radiation? I didn't really have time to be worried about radiation. We were more worried the building would collapse on us. I mean, half of it was already gone. Okay, so what did you do with your little group? Well, first we all sat down and exchanged stories of our survival, speculations on the causes of the attack, all that. It was the most natural thing in the world. But soon enough, we needed to make a decision. Ross said I was the last person he'd found alive in our building. Well, I don't. Well, that's a thing that if would have supplies, that would maybe be a good idea. Because, but then again, to get more distance on the ground zero would be quite a good idea, and I think it would be a bad idea to leave on our own. So I would go with the. I suggest putting as much distance between ground zero and ourselves as possible because, well, that's what I would do, but yeah, so let's get that one. I argued strongly that we needed to leave right then and there, but what? But they wanted to stay, the family with the child. He'd started feeling bad, nauseous, diarrhea. He wasn't in any shape to walk anywhere, they said. So, what did you do? Okay, so... Well, if the kid has diarrhea and he's nauseous and everything, it's kind of a bad idea to stay there because all the bacteria would spread and everyone would just get sick faster, I think. So we're just going alone then. I decided to leave on my own. They weren't surprised. There had been a couple of others who had also gone off on their own after they'd found them. This is suspiciously involved dream, you know. Tell me about it. So, what next? So, I needed to get out of town as far as I could go. That's a good idea, yes. Or I just wanted to find safe spots somewhere to hunker down. Well, that's kind of good thing too. Or I wanted to try to find chess. Well, that's actually kind of a bad option because he might not even be alive anymore. So I would think that the safe spot would be the best option. I wanted to move, but I wasn't prepared to travel far, not by myself. What did it look like? The streets? Awful. Ruined buildings everywhere, charred by fire, most of them. We had to pick our way between cars and debris and bodies. There were so many bodies. It makes me sick just to think about it. Must be pretty difficult to travel. Yes, although it was oddly inconsistent. I think my building was the last one directly affected by the blast. About a block in the opposite direction there were many intact buildings. As much as you could call them intact, I guess. Still standing. What about others? Were there any survivors on the streets? Yeah, there were others. A lot of them were a lot worse off than me. Some were blind. Others were burned, broken, or in shock. There just wasn't anything I could do. Where was the government? I don't know. No one knew. I hadn't heard a single ambulance siren since the event. For all for all we knew, there was nothing left. Did you find anything? I ended up in an apartment building a few blocks away. It was actually Chess's building. Chess? My boyfriend. In the dream, I mean. It was weird. Were you close? I don't know how to answer that, but I guess we were pretty steady. How steady? Well, I felt there was potential, encouraging. Anyway, since I knew where his apartment was, I thought I'd go and check. Did you have the key? Of course not. But that didn't matter. When I got up there, I found the door left open. He must have left in such a hurry he forgot to close it behind him properly. I still knocked before entering, but there was no one there. Also, I apologized. I was just yawned. I'm a little tired, but anyway. Huh. So, what do you do? It was familiar to me, his apartment, I mean. When we met, you had some quality time together. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Say no more. Yours or mine, etc. Damn, what a dream. Uh-huh. He had some food I could eat, fresh fruit, that kind of thing, so I availed myself to that. There was a sofa. I took a nap. Sounds like you struck gold. It was interesting. Or weird. To be there, he had these pictures of his sister and him everywhere. I hadn't really noticed them before. She was in a wheelchair in most of them. And on his fridge, a post-it with her address and phone number. He must have really cared for her. I wasn't thinking past tense. I took the post-it. I'm not even sure why. Anyway, I stayed overnight, but the truth was that I was starting to feel ill. From the radiation. Yep. So, what did you do? I stayed in the apartment for several days more, eating just food and looking through all his things. No diary, sadly, and he only had a desktop computer with no power. Was that wise, staying there? No, but the truth was I didn't really have a choice. I realized I was too weak to travel. The ash rain turned to black sludge outside the window. I tried to keep the ash and the wet out, but at first I thought I was just tired from the long night, the stress, seeing all these bodies. But it was something worse. I wouldn't have wished it on anyone. The nausea, the diarrhea. It didn't matter what I ate, it all just came back up again. Soon I was too weak to leave the sofa. This is when you woke up. I wish. I lingered. It was slow. Towards the end, I don't know how many days had passed, but many. Someone came in through the door. In my delirium, I was dehydrated and in a fever. I thought it was Jess who'd come home from the store with my medicine. I called out. It wasn't Jess. No, or maybe it was. I couldn't see any longer. I know they ended me. I think it was a mercy killing more than anything else. You have an incredibly fucked up subconscious. And thus conclude my dream. Well, that was interesting. What do you think? I think I felt incomplete, like there was something missing. That wasn't the way it was supposed to end, you know? Dreams are supposed to end in certain ways. This one was, I think. It felt like it was trying to tell me something, but I wasn't listening closely enough. Maybe you can try again next night, see if you hear the same recording. Speaking of, what frequency was this on? That's the weird part. When I tried to see, I realized I had hit the right channel and that it was in fact reading Alice in Wonderland. And this isn't exactly some obscure number station frequency on the AM bands. Well, maybe you'll dream it next night again anyway. That's a good thing with dreams. You can always dream them again. And maybe do something different than second time around. Okay, so I guess yeah, these are credits. And it seems that I didn't get too far. Well, that was The Bottom of the Well, it seems, or many versions of it. And I think that I will play this again just to get the other endings, because that was really interesting. And though this is really short and kind of minimal, but I don't know. I'm really a sucker for these kind of black and white and these story kind of story-based games. These are just, I think these are just well, just freaking awesome. And yeah, I think it's worth checking out, and I will probably record more of this. I don't know, maybe. We'll see when the time comes. Who knows? No one knows. And yeah, but anyway, thanks for watching, or maybe more how would you say it? More accurately, listening. And yeah, but anyway, that was The Bottom of the Well, and we'll maybe continue this next time. I don't know, like I said, now I'm just rambling and saying things again all the time, but anyway, goodbye.